Hello and welcome on the very first Synergy Codes webinar. My name is Krzysztof Sobczak and I am a new business development expert. Today we will talk about project visualization and, to be more specific, how to facilitate team collaboration effectively. But first, few interesting facts about our company. Synergy Codes was founded 9 years ago in Wrocław, Poland, and we are global experts in data visualization and business process modeling. About the agenda. Today's webinar will take approximately less than an hour, and during it we'll discuss a few points regarding the topic, and in the end there will be a Q&A session. The main aims of the webinar. We would like to present you the possibilities that our tool is offering and getting a feedback from you guys via chat and during the Q&A session, and that's why I am strongly recommending you to be an active participant of this event. And upon request, we can give you an access to the tool for 7 days testing. Now I would like to invite my dear colleague, Michał Bruździak, who is a product owner of this tool. Welcome, Michał.
Hi, Chris. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike, and I work at Synergy Codes as a key account manager and a business analyst.
Thank you, Mike. I would like to ask you, what will you present exactly for us today?
Well, I have two topics for today. First, I would like to discuss about how the project visualization can enhance your work when you are working from home and you need to collaborate with your colleagues. When you work for a multi-locational company and you want to cooperate with people from different locations, or if you want to work with your clients, but due to some policies or low budgets, you cannot meet in person. The second topic will be a presentation of a tool that we are developing here at Synergy Codes that, with the power of project visualization, addresses those and far more issues. The tool we have created as our answer to the coronavirus crisis.
Yeah, exactly. So please tell us what serious problems we are facing during this ongoing COVID global crisis.
So the problems that we are facing during the global COVID crisis are related to working from home. So when we started working from home, we found out that some of the issues are not as easy as they were when we were working basically in the office. And the first of them is the lack of perspective on the project. If you are running a project, it is very hard for you to see the perspective, to see where your colleagues involved in the projects are, what the statuses of the tasks are, and how the project is doing overall. And if you want to catch up on this, it's a huge waste of time. Second problem is the contribution of people. Let's face it, first of all, it's much easier to get distracted when you work from home than when you work from the office. Then some of the people are not feeling comfortable with the voice calls and speaking up during those voice calls because they are not as outgoing. Due to that, they do not provide as much value as they could be while working in the office. They need some other way to express themselves. And the third problem is the creative space. So if you are trying to design, create, build something, you actually need something else than just the voice call to express yourself. Normally in the office, you go to the whiteboard, you grab a pen, draw something, you use your gestures, you somehow visualize what you want to say. And right now, during the voice calls, it's not as easy. These are the biggest problems, Chris.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, we have developed a tool that is solving all the mentioned problems.
Yes, the multiplayer. So the multiplayer is a tool that allows you to build, or I should say co-build the process, because it's a cooperational tool. It allows you to visualize this process and monitor it. It also allows you to get better on the quality of your communication within your team. It allows you to get better on the contribution of your people, and it allows you to provide a creative space for your team to work in.
All right, but can you summarize what are the main benefits of using the multiplayer?
So first of all, you get rid of the manual tasks, which is a huge waste of time normally. And here you don't have to waste this time. Then you get the live monitoring of the process, so you don't have to waste your time on checking up on it. You get better on communication, so you don't have to communicate that much. You get better on the contribution of your people, so they give you a lot more value than they would normally. And in the end, if you sum it all up, you lower your cost, you gain the profit because you get more of your people, which causes the huge profit in the end for you.
Wow, it sounds amazing, but can you show us the multiplayer in real action?
Well, yes, of course. Please follow me. So I'm here assisted by David.
Hello everyone, my name is David and I'm a software developer at Synergy Codes.
And actually David is one of our most important developers here at Synergy Codes involved in the multiplayer tool. So the tool itself is will be consisting of two major modules. The module that we call the Flow Designer, that is dedicated to the processes, and the Whiteboard, that is dedicated to the team cooperation. Both of them are allowing us to work on the simultaneously work on the canvas, but the usage of them will be completely different. For now, we have a stable version of the Flow Designer, and that's what I would like to present to you right now. All right, so the Flow Designer allows us to start a process, to fulfill the process, and in the end, of course, end the process. We have decided to leave the BPMN notation aside because it is quite hard to digest for people who do not know it, who are not trained in it. Therefore, we decided to make it as easy as possible, and basically we just recommend usage of the task nodes, which represent an action to be taken within a process. So here we've got task nodes. Furthermore, we have decision node that can divert the process. I will just place two more task nodes to make it understandable. I connect the question node. I choose which path is right, which wrong, and I connect them to the endpoint. And this is how easily we can build a flow. Now, how do we cooperate on the flow? To picture that, I have predefined some other flow earlier on that presents a process that we are following here when we are serving a new prospective client here at Synergy Codes. And I have invited David and Agnes, colleagues of mine, to show the cooperation. So as you can see here, we've got a process to follow, and at some point I need to organize a discovery workshop. I need to gather people there, so I would like to invite them for the meeting. So I'm typing a note. Okay. Okay, and I'm asking them if first day is okay for them. I attach the node to the particular part of the process, and I'm waiting for their answers. In the meantime, the client asks me if I can erase the wireframes, because he doesn't need the wireframes, he just wants the interactive mockups. Therefore, I can just delete the parts of the process that are irrelevant to me and reattach the process to make sure that it's still going on. So from the proposal shape, we go directly to the mockups. In the meantime, you can see that David was asked by the client to provide the DevOps expertise. So we need to provide additional step to the estimation process, and that's what David is doing right now. So once he is done with that, I will be waiting for him to add the comment with the estimations and for Agnes to present the mockups on the site. Right now I can see with this draw attention node that appears here that Agnes is calling me out. I'll go there, I can see that the mockup is already loaded, and right now I will be able to go in and check it out. All right, so the client is a hydroponic farm and we've created a solution for them. Looks very good. So I'm checking what is happening on the comment side of David. I can see that the comments are already there. So the estimation of work in total is 600 hours, delivery time in 2 months. I have beautiful mockups, I have the estimation, I can organize the meeting with the client. And basically this is how we use this tool. And right now I would like to ask David to present some ideas about what's technically under the hood here.
Thank you, Michał. When we started this project, we've been given a free hand in terms of choosing the technology stack. After the initial meeting on the project, we have identified few potential challenges that we may face during the development phase. That said, we have decided to choose technologies and libraries that we can rely on. To render our application within the browser window, we have chosen React.js library.
All right, but why did you choose the React library? Why not Angular? I know it's very popular as well.
It would sound as a complete programming mumbo-jumbo if I tried to explain it to you right now. So I'm just going to say that React is efficient and fairly simple to learn. Therefore, we can swiftly develop new features.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Since we knew that we're planning to launch a line of products, we wanted to keep their user interface as consistent as possible. Therefore, for this task, we chose a Material UI library which follows material design pattern and consists of predefined HTML controls such as input fields, buttons, and more. Our application has to deal with lots of data, and for that, we decided to choose Redux library. Its performance and simplicity helped us tangle the data, these huge amounts of data that we're dealing with within our application. Moreover, it complements and works great with React. Building the interactive diagram in collaboration with other users wouldn't be possible if not the Go.js library.
So why did you decide to go with the Go.js library? I mean, there's plenty of libraries with the canvas and objects on it there on the market. Why Go.js?
Well, we use it for a few years now for a couple of reasons. First, we value it for its high customization capabilities. Second, it supports displaying hundreds of nodes at the same time with sufficient performance. Moving to the backend technology, as a reliable server backend technology, we have chosen Node.js along with Express and Socket.io libraries. Those three combined together provide us with ability to handle dozens of connections at once without the drawback on the performance of the server. So that would be it. Those are the core technologies that stand behind the multiplayer solution for now.
All right. Thank you, David, for showing us what is below the surface. And this is probably it for the tool as it looks now. But I would like to invite you for a quick tour on what we are planning for you in the future. So I would like to start with a presentation of how the Flow Designer will look like in the final shape. Okay. So Getting back in the history, it all started with our CEO, who at the beginning of the coronavirus crisis thought that we should think about a product that might be helpful to the world with the lowering of the impact of the crisis to the market. So, of course, he didn't want to work on it just on his own, so he invited me as a product owner. Right now you can see him adding me with a personal note, which is an assisting note here with a dashed line to the process. I had created my own swim lane, and I said, Maciej, okay, let's work on it, but we are not going to be able to do it on our own. Let's invite most experienced people from Synergy Codes, and let's work on the scope to be as good as possible, as relevant for the market as possible. I proposed to organize a value proposition design meeting, and during this meeting we have discussed what can we do to the world, what can we propose to the world, what of our expertise might be helpful to the world right now in the times of the corona crisis. As you can see here, we've got another type of personal notes, those little adornments with photos. This is the collapsed personal note attached to the task note. Having this value proposition design workshops done, I have defined the product scope on my own. I came back to Maciej and I said, Maciej, that's what I planned. Maciej had his corrections. I had corrections to his corrections, and so on and so on. And this little loop went for a while, and finally we settled that, okay, this is what we want to present to the world. And that's how the initial scope of the tool was created. At this time, we invited to the project Agnieszka, who represented the design team, the Supernova team of our company, and Łukasz, who is the leader of the product design of developers. We've created swim lanes for them, but then we thought that we should move those closer to our swim lanes and move the Synergy Codes team aside, because their job is already done and they would just mess with the clarity of the process. So as you can see, the nodes that were inside just follow the swim lane that they are based in. So having the initial scope defined, Agnieszka started working with her team on her own on the mockups, and Łukasz at the same time started working on the scope for the release 1.0. Agnieszka was refining the mockups easily, and in the same time Łukasz had to refine, plan, and define the scope of the release 1.0. To monitor that, I have attached for Agnieszka a pie chart that allowed us to follow the creation of mockups, and for Łukasz a line chart that allowed us to monitor the delivery. So after the release 1.0 was done, we had the first version of the tool and we were about to accept it. So I took this tool and I went out to the market. I started asking our friends, our best clients, our most important clients about the feedback of what is going on. Do they like it? Do they need it? What can we bring to it to make it better? And this area of getting feedback was started by the Lean Startup method, and we followed this here, and you can see that I've also placed a counter here that allows us to monitor how many feedbacks we have gotten. So this went on, and finally we said that, okay, we have a scope for phase 2. When we had it defined, we have asked for the mockups, we have asked for the development to be done, and once another release was done, we just came back to again gathering people, getting feedback, and sessions like this. And right now we are sitting on a session where I show you our plan for the future and you provide us feedback, and I would like you to warmly recommend giving us this feedback and letting us know what will be important to you, because that's what we are going to base the tool on in the final resolution. So this is how the Flow Designer will look like. And right now I would like to ask you to go with me to the Whiteboard tool, where I would like to present how we are going to follow and how we created the Whiteboard feature. All right. Okay. Okay. So right now we are in the whiteboard feature, and the whiteboard feature is devoted to increasing the quality of the cooperation between people. So we start with a canvas that is unlimited. Everybody can bring whatever they want, wherever they want. But if it is not structured, it doesn't really work very well. Therefore, we introduced the agenda. The agenda allows you to indicate the subjects, the main topics of your meeting, and this will automatically create frames for it, which will be spaces for the usage during this particular part of the meeting. You can see it on the sidebar on the right-hand side. You can focus on a particular one. You can change the agenda if this is needed, of course. And let's focus on the first one. As I was the person who was staging this, this meeting, I wanted to prepare the frames to be as intuitive as possible for the meeting. We started with the lightning talk round, so I needed a shape of a lightning, of course. And as I wanted people to be thorough on time of their speeches during the lightning talks, I've introduced a timer that allowed us to limit the speech to 5 minutes. Then I've placed a picture, a very nice picture of a ski jumper. Ski jumping is very important here in Poland. It's one of our national sports, I would say. And basically, the ski jumper, if he has the wind from the front, it is an opportunity for him. If he has it from the back, it is a trouble for him. And that's how I wanted to symbolize that we are going to talk about troubles and opportunities regarding the corona crisis. Then I used a predefined template for the frame to introduce the trouble solution matrix. As you can see it here, it is already defined. Here I also used a predefined solution, which was a Kanban board, which introduces basically 3 columns, but I customized it to use it for a Walt Disney method. Then I have defined the personas. I didn't define them myself, of course, because that was the subject of the meeting, but I've prepared some stock photos to allow people to think a little bit more freely. In the end, of course, I've created the value proposition canvas just so we can work on it and finally do our job during the meeting. So having the board ready, I invited people to it. They appeared here, they started the lightning round, and whoever was not speaking was supposed to visualize whatever he hears. So we've done that with the sticky notes, which is the basic body of thoughts here in the tool. If you have something to say, you just put a sticky note, you put your comment on it, and that's what you do. But of course, people used also some visualization like images, logos of companies that might be relevant to our process. And this is how the mood board of ours in the end looked like. Then we started talking about troubles and opportunities. Here, of course, lots of ideas on the sticky notes happened here. And having those identified, we saw that there is too many. So we needed to use the like icon. If you talk about troubles, it's not very useful, it's not very handy to call it like, but let's say that the like button allowed us to choose the most important, the crucial ones for us. And that's how we signed them. Those black adornments are the like buttons here. During that discussion, I have introduced an action because I saw that there is an action that needs to be pinned to this particular frame. I've assigned it to myself and we went further. So later on, we had to take the troubles from second frame and put it on the third frame because we needed the trouble for the trouble solution matrix. So after that, I saw that people got lost because we were working on 2 frames simultaneously. So I needed to force the screen. As you can see this frame here, it allows me, if I click the button on the top right, I can force people to view whatever I'm viewing at that time. And this is something that is very useful if you see that people are not very active during the meeting. If you can see that they got lost, they don't know what is happening, you just force the screen and you let them get back on track. So having solutions for troubles defined, we have gone to the Walt Disney method. That's a very creative method. I recommend it to anyone. And during that, we have had a lot of actions and comments placed to that frame because we found them important and we wanted them to stay there. So the crucial comments were set here. Then we went to personas. We defined top personas of of the tool, top users of the tool, and actually the first 3 of them, as you can see them here, up until today we still work with them because we find them most important for the process itself. And in the end, of course, we started working on the value proposition canvas. We started filling it, and we focused most on the products and services part of the left red node. So if we focus on that, you can see that the multiplayer is the global idea here as the simultaneous cooperation goes, and the flow designer and the whiteboard are also here presented. But as well, but here also you can see the Gantt chart, the to-do list, and the dashboards, which also we find important and we are planning to introduce as the side modules later on in the development. So having the meeting over, I just wanted to sum it up quickly. So I entered the presentation mode and I briefly went through the presentation, reminding everybody what we talked about. And later on, I wanted people to have something to remember this with. So I created a report, a PDF report, that pictures all the frames in the state they are at the end, with all the actions that we've assigned and all the comments that we assigned up until the end of the meeting. It looks like this here, you can see. And this allowed me to not to waste hours for the meeting minutes after this very long meeting. So I've saved a lot of time for myself, and I was pretty happy with it. All right, so this is how the multiplayer will look like in the future. And I'm very glad that I was able to show you the multiplayer, how it was created inside the multiplayer tool. And yeah, that's it for today from my side. Thanks for listening to my presentation. And now I think we can start the Q&A session.
All right, so now it's the time for Q&A session. Are you guys ready?
Yes, of course.
So, first question. Konrad would like to know what, in our opinion, makes us different from other team collaboration systems. What are our unique features?
Well, that's actually an excellent question. I'm very happy that it was asked. So I think that none of the tools that is available on the market addresses as many things as we do, as many issues as we do. And of course, there is plenty of different tools having different possibilities of work. Some of them are interactive, some of them are not interactive, some of them are more structured, some of them are more simple. We decided to go with the simplicity of the solutions to make it the most important thing. And of course, we decided to be as visual as possible. So we use a lot of different visual solutions that allow you to work faster than if you would use some forms or anything like this. So basically, yeah, simplicity and visual representation. That's what we see as our strong sides here.
All right, so now Tom would like to know is there any notification panel where he could review all recent actions on the canvas?
Well, not for now. It wasn't in the presentation. We think about one of the features for the whiteboard tool. That would be the frame photo. So if you are in some position of the frame during the work and you would like to take a photo, to take a snapshot of it, that's something that we would like to introduce. For now, we didn't think about the notifications or how to say it, snapshots of what we are having. But I think that this can be easily proposed as a feedback for us. We can refine it, and if we see the opportunity on the market, we will implement that.
All right, so third question comes from Maria. She is wondering how many nodes and clients at once can we support?
I think that's a question to David.
Yes, so we have performed some tests with 15 users. And surprisingly, the tests went through. We were happy with the results. So the results were as follows: that we've invited 15 people to join simultaneously to our application on our environment. And during this test, we've been giving them free hand in terms of playing with the application. So they were doing whatever they wanted. They were uploading pictures, connecting nodes, creating nodes, adding comments, and everything that is possible within our application currently have been tested, and surprisingly, as I've mentioned, all tests were passed. And we had something around 100 nodes working properly when it comes to creating the diagram. And yeah, as I've mentioned, we've been surprised with the results. So I'm going to risk that we can support up to 15 users for now and up to 100 nodes at one diagram.
And from the business perspective, I think I can add up that we will see the market response for that. If we see that people need more nodes, we can work on that. If more users need to be implemented into the tool, that's also doable. So basically, it's customizable. It's in the early stage, so we can work on that depending on the market needs and on the basic client needs if they go on with us with the customization.
All right, Konrad again. He's wondering that everything looks and sounds great, but how do we want to convince companies to use our solution where there are many tools on the market, including international players?
Okay, so, well, that's a very good question. So I would say that we already base our solutions on the market players, and we base it on our clients who are also big players here in the business world. So basically, we try to be as simple as possible. Most of the complex solutions for big companies are very, very, very complex. And most of the companies acquire a tool and then they use like 10 or 15% of their possibilities. We would like people to use 100% of what we provide to make it as easy to use as possible and as helpful as possible.
Okay, so Maria, for the second time, she would like to know also what industry is the tool for. She means what specific problems does it respond to?
Okay, so I think here a little bit of a background. So right now, regarding the pricing, regarding the selling of the product, we are thinking about hybrid approach. So we're not going to sell only the off-the-shelf product. We are going to sell off-the-shelf product when it is ready. But also, we would like to propose to the companies the customization. And in this case, when we go into customization, we can add as many specific values as needed. The product off the shelf will be as simple as possible. And if you are working for different industries, it really does not matter that much, because what we are working here with is as generic as possible, because every single industry needs collaboration between people, needs to run processes and projects, and needs to manage them. And that's what we want to propose to people. So whether it's a restaurant or some manufacturing company or automotive company, it doesn't really matter, because the subject of what we work on here is always the same. And on the other hand, if you have some specific needs for your company or your industry, we can customize it to your needs.
Okay, so next question asked Pavel, but I think you partly answered for it before, but maybe you would like to add something, that what is, in our opinion, what makes us different comparing with other competitors on the market? I don't know if you'd like to add something.
So, well, yeah, I think that I've already talked about it, and yeah, basically, we are the company that can customize anything to anyone's needs, and the tool itself is going to be very simple to use. And I think that it's worth to say that our UI UX side is very powerful, and well, I like it very much, and I hope our customers do like it very much too.
Okay, I think it's a third question from Maria. How exactly the communication between the clients and the server is being done?
Oh well, David, stage is yours.
Yes, so I've mentioned one library, which is Socket.io. and we use it for communication between the client and the server. So primarily Socket.io utilizes WebSockets to exchange the data between the server and the client, and if this and if these are not available, it will fall back into the HTTP long polling, which means that to exchange the data between the clients, it will use HTTP requests instead of the WebSockets. But I can add that all modern browsers for now support WebSockets, so they should be used primarily for this purpose.
Okay, I think we have a competition between Konrad and Maria because it's a Konrad for the third time. What about Communicator? Is it built-in? How looks conversation between the project participants? Is there anything like Slack in the system?
Well, not Slack per se, I would say. So we don't build the Communicator in, but there is a possibility to communicate. As I presented this on the stable version already, you can add the comment node, which basically is a small chat. The difference between the Communicator and these small chats is that if you want to talk about some particular part of the process, then you just enter the comment node and you start discussion on that immediately, and you don't have a particular space where the discussion is being held. Same thing with the frames in the Whiteboard feature. You also have comments to be put on that are then saved, so the most crucial discussion can be saved, even sent to the meeting minutes, and still you attach it, anchor it to a particular place of the process or a meeting. And that's what we are going to support for now.
Okay, Maria on the top. Let's imagine a situation in which two users try to move a node at the same time. Wouldn't they have some kind of a conflict?
Well, again, David.
Yes, so we have predicted these kind of behaviors, and to prevent those, we have introduced the locking mechanism, and basically what it does is that it blocks other users in performing some kind of actions on a nodes, whether links or pulls, which are blocked by another user. So when I'm a user and I select my, for example, my task node to make some changes to it, for instance, change the text, or change its position by drag and dropping, other users can see that I have it selected, and they cannot make an action on it. So that's what is being done to prevent those kind of conflicts within our application. Additionally, we have introduced dependency lock mechanism, but it's slightly more complicated, and I don't want to go into details regarding it for now.
So I think that was the programming mambo jumbo, as you called it earlier.
Yeah.
But in short words, if someone activates a node, then other person cannot, because they see that this was activated by, for example, David or me. Mm-hmm. And that's how we prevent working on the same issues at the same time.
I will surprise you. And you, dear guests, Konrad would like to know, what about mobile version? Is there mobile app of our solution?
Not for now. We didn't think about it yet. First of all, if you work on the canvas, the mobile phone is not something that you would like to work with. That's why we didn't think about it in the first place. But when the tool will be developing, we can of course think about some of the features that are available in the desktop version to be interpreted into mobile phones to be used easily. But not in 100%. It's not going to be the same to be used on the mobile phone, for sure.
Okay, I don't know if you have any further questions. Someone? Anyone? So I think that's all. So I would like thank you, Michał, thank you, David, for such a great presentations and your expertise. But I would like to thank you, dear guests, for the participation in our very first webinar. And please remember that upon request, we can give you an access to the tool for 7 days testing. Please also remember that any feedback is very important for us. So we would like to thank you again very much for watching us, and see you next time. Bye-bye.